We are live. All right, guys, welcome to Lore Games. My name is Alvin, and I am accompanied by Chris Oyola. Today, we are going to be doing a post-DLC recap. We're going to be recapping our experience at DLC Seattle that happened over the weekend. And after that, we're going to be covering the deck lists. The deck list from Seattle, all the spicy stuff, everything that topped in top 64. So stay tuned after the recap with Chris. We will be covering that. All right, guys. So let's start this off, Chris, by introducing yourself, and what brought you to the game and your experience in Lorcana so far.
Yep, perfect. Yep. My name is Chris Oyola. I'm from New York. How I started my Lorcana journey was I'm actually a game designer for my own card battler that I'm trying to release in a few years. So at Gen Con last year, I was demoing my card game, and I wanted to test the competition. Lorcana will be the next big card battler. So I bought some sets. We had previous testing methods like Pixelborn. So as a game designer, I tried to really understand the essence of a game. Like, what is a game designer trying to make the players feel? Do I truly feel like an Illuminator? When I cast my songs, do I feel like I'm singing Be Prepared, a whole new world? And then I try to break a game. I try to see how I could find interaction. So in Pixelborn, I was top 10 in season 0 with Ruby Amethyst. I made my own deck. I don't really net deck, and unfortunately, there was no organized play for the first 9 months. So I took a hiatus, and then I returned once they announced the Stitch tournaments and DLCs. And then I just like to brew. So that's how I met you, Alvin. We were at Atlanta, and I ran Turnabout Turbo.
And you were brewing, bro. I was like, what in the world am I playing against? I thought you were hyper aggro, and then you started playing other stuff. I'm like, wait a second, what?
Yeah.
This is not going to be that easy, actually. Yeah.
I played Rockstar Stitches and everything, and I won multiple Stitches. I was top 25 in the ladder at Pixelborn. I literally conceded if Savage or other prominent pros were playing. If I played you twice, I would just give you the match. So I would make sure I was not on the top 25 of the leaderboard to ensure my brew was kept on the wraps. And then, unfortunately, I got sick. I was like, I know how to play the game. So then, unfortunately, I got 66. And then my next tournament would be Texas. And I don't really own cards. So again, I was brewing. So I was playing Steel Song. And my philosophy when I play decks is I don't trust, no offense, I don't trust anybody with their decks. You could be the best Ruby Sapphire player. I don't trust your deck list. Everything's under scrutiny. So when I came to Steel Song, I had the same thing. I took out a whole new world. I took out Cindy turn ship. I want to really understand why those cards work. And sometimes I learn how to play a deck even better when you remove it, because once I have access to those good cards, now I really know how to use it. Or I've been able to find out how to play a deck even advanced when I don't have access to the overpowered cards. So yes, please play a whole new world in Steel Song. And then I made up a Perdita Steel Song. I found it as a solution to deal with Blue Steel and Ruby Sapphire and top 4 Dallas. And then Vegas, I just play with Steel Song because I love the deck. It's very, I don't, unfortunately, I'm very busy with my work. And I don't have too much play sets. I probably play about 15 games of Lorcana a month, 10 of which are at a DLC. I don't really play. So I had 5 games of prep before Vegas, and then I did some modifications and got 51st. And then this past weekend in Seattle, I got 21st with Steel Song.
Steel Song, man. You're representing Steel Song, dude. Yeah, that's what I was playing against you in Atlanta. So I was playing Steel Song at that time, and I didn't make top 64. This is my only time that I've made top 64 over the weekend in Seattle. So I'm so pumped, and I'm glad. I got to see you at every single event after that, which is really cool, man. The second event, I was like, dude, I remember you.
And that's what I love about Lorcana. I came from I played card games before. I played Yu-Gi-Oh! In the 2000s. I played Magic online from 2010 to 20. Since you're into fitness, I was previously a boxer. So I went to school, internships, relationships, and boxing. I still love card games. So I would do at night or on the weekends. So, it's just I love the community coming from Yu-Gi-Oh! And even a little Magic. The community could be a little toxic, but just like even when you win or lose, like I want some. I feel such a love for each other, like the respect for the game. Like I don't know, the Lorcana community is like one of one in the card battler world. Like everybody's nice, warm. We want each other
Yeah.
to be successful.
Agreed. And over the weekend, the people that I 2-0'd had such a great attitude. And then likewise, whenever I got 2-0'd, I had a great attitude too. I was like, dude, congrats. In top 64, in top 16, when I faced Wonderland, Luke, the guy that ended up winning, he beat me. He 2-0'd me, and I was like, dude, congratulations. Like, this is amazing. Take the win, man. Like, congrats. We're both getting our invites, and I really do hope you crush it. And he ended up crushing it. You know, like my attitude didn't change at all. Like whenever I left, when after I got 2-0'd in my top 16 and I left back to my group, I was happy, dude. I was so happy. I had a big smile on my face. And my friends saw me and they were excited. They were like, wait, you won? I was like, no, I lost, but I got the invite to Continentals, to regionals. So I'm stoked. Like, I'm so excited to just be here, honestly.
Yeah.
So yeah, the attitude in Lorcana is very, very different from other card games. And I really do hope it stays that way. And I hope if people come over from different card games that don't have the best attitude, find the change, because it's just surrounded around them so much. You know what I mean? Like, I hope I hope they're influenced by all the positivity around.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I also wanted to talk about your deck list. I have it pulled up here. Could you just give us a recap of... Oh, wait, this is mine. Let me pull up yours, bro. Let me pull up your deck list here. Here we go. Could you talk about your deck list and why you decided to go with this, and also your experience on Friday, because you did play on Friday, right?
Yeah, so I guess I'll start with Friday.
Uh-huh.
I got trashed on Friday. I've never I have a very high win record with Lorcana. I've never won one match out of 8 rounds. It's best out of 2. So I went 1, 0 losses, and 6 draws. Mm-hmm. It may see like a couple of losses. I conceded because I think top 32 gets tickets, and I just gave it to someone who was going to do all 8 rounds. So I just gave a few free wins, but I'm like, I've never gotten 6 draws ever. So I was like, it was a wake up call. And you know what? I love losing. Like if I lose, I'm going back to the lab. I gotta change something. Like, and the wonderful thing about Lorcana is, if you want to advance in this game, you need to self-reflect. Do not blame your opponent. Do not blame luck. A lot of your losses come on your deck list, your play. And when I lose, I had to look at myself, and I knew my deck list wasn't perfect. So I removed bare necessities. I do think it's not that good in Steel Song. It really doesn't do much. And I also removed something else. I removed like an Ursula. I played 4 Ursula Vanessas and 4 Zeuses. The 3 and 3. I know that ratio works. I was just testing something out, and I went to Balloose. So with bare necessities, I always wanted to discard B preps for the Ruby Amethyst matchup and the Ruby Sapphire, or even post a whole new world just to gauge what someone does. But in reality, that doesn't really help. But Baloo, in an odd way, is protection versus B prep, because I gained 2 lore. So it is a pseudo bare necessities, because I use bare necessities to get rid of the B prep, but I don't mind walking into the B prep. Force them to have it, let them use their 7 ink, and I still get 2 lore. So it still provides pressure. Blue also helps protect the queen. This weekend, I opted to play the queen. Most lists before, even my Vegas list, I ran Robin Hood. Presently, with Steel Song, the 3 ink slot is very saturated. Pete, Lauren, Ariel. Sometimes you want to play multiple cards, like Ursula, Vanessa, and Cindy. So Queen fits perfectly by costing 2 for the ship. Also, on turn 2, it has Singer 5. I really don't care about the whole new world combo. I care more about putting a Singer 5 on turn 2 that can activate his effect to use Zeus. Strength. Be the biggest body on board. Just sort of for the next 4 or 5 turns, she's controlling the game. I don't have to quest with it. It's just being there, having Singer 5 active for the next few turns is amazing.
Hard to remove, That's why is that why you think her name is Commanding Presence?
Pretty much all eyes on her. Like, oh, boss. What can I do? Yeah, exactly.
So what's your cooking process? Like, how do you determine what you're gonna cook up for the? Do you like look at the meta? Do you just like try to kind of test out, or like what's your whole process?
So I look at Dreamborn a lot. I look at the highest cost cards in the game. Usually the highest cost cards are equated to something powerful. So I
Mhm.
try to see if I can break anything with anything that's very powerful.
Yeah.
Then I look at a lot of engines. I do like filters. I'll look at workshop. Like on Pixelborn, I made Emerald, Sapphire workshop decks. What is that? Yes, exactly. I just
Yeah.
find weird stuff. Tribal. I'll also use a lot of color combinations. Like
Mm.
I played Ruby Steel aggro, Ruby Steel control, Ruby Steel mid range. I played every single color combination in various ways just to see what's the positives or pros and cons of it. And
Mm.
often you'll find, because some colors lack certain strengths, you'll
Mm.
find elegant solutions that you can apply to establish tier list decks. So if I find like Perdita, I was playing an Emerald aggro deck that used Pluto and Gastons to ramp up to Perdita. So I would just basically aggro them out and then use Perdita as a late game push.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
then that sucks. But Perdita proved valid. Wait. Once I resolve Perdita, it sort of
Mhm.
allows me to get that 4, 6 extra lore. So let me apply Perdita to Steel Song. So that's how I gauge. Like I may have 20 bad ideas, and I don't mind losing I don't mind losing 10 games, but I will find some like a golden nugget that I can
Mhm.
apply to other decks. So that's how I approach it. Even though I don't, unfortunately, without Pixelborn, I can't brew as much, but I've
Mhm.
learned a lot from brewing before that
Yeah.
I know what works, what doesn't work. So even though I don't play as much, I don't have much practice
Mhm.
as I used to. Like I still have a lot of experience previously. I have a lot of mental notes. Like trust me, if there's some new card that gets released, I remember the stuff I brewed up back then that I might be able to apply. Like trust me, Workshop. I'm waiting to break Workshop and other combos besides Ruby Sapphire, for example.
Mhm. Awesome, dude. Also, a very, very question that I want to ask you for myself and also for everybody else that's listening. Um, like what is your recommendation for somebody that has been going to DLCs and not exactly finding the results that they wanted? Like, what's your recommendation as far as like training and that whole routine to prep for a challenge and to do well at a challenge?
So I feel players focus on the mid to late game far too much. A lot of the misplays in this game occurs from turns 1, 2, and 3.
Uh-huh.
I view Lorcana as a game of a beginning stage of turns 1 and 2,
Mm-hmm.
turns 3 to 8 as the mid game, and 9 through 10, 9 over is the late game. It's very easy to identify, oh, I put everything to the board and got beat prep wiped. But I often ink Ariel on turn 1. I'm pretty sure if you took a poll of every Steel Song player at any DLC, they would
Mm-hmm.
not even conceive of thinking inking Ariel turn 1. But I forecast on turn 3. You know what's going to be very valuable in this matchup?
Mm-hmm.
Having multiple singers going wide. Lawrence is a very more powerful play. So I need to ink Ariel. I know I'm going to ink it eventually. I want to play something else. You would need to really forecast how the game is going to break down and how your opponent inks also shows what's their intent on turn 3. Because on turn 3, that's where a lot of action occurs. Ruby Sapphire has probably 4 ink and they're playing the higher or they're playing the fishbone to start ramping up.
Mm-hmm.
Steel Song, they shifted to Robin Hood Queen. They're playing Lawrence. They're playing Ariel. Ruby Amethyst, they have Bannerman Fox, the Snake. The game truly starts at turn 3 and onward, like the core of the action.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to find a way where you're in a good position by turn 3. So again, it's so easy to like identify misplays later on, but this is, in my opinion, a lot of players are struggling to progress. Is they don't understand the inking choices you make
Mm-hmm.
are so crucial. And how I figure out what I'm going to be inking is I just assume the next few cards I'm going to be drawing like Zeus in a whole new world, like uninkables. If I can figure out, like if I can make good ink decisions, like I can forecast what's going to be good ink decisions for next 3 turns.
Yeah.
If I get anything else that's possibly inkable, then there I'll ink that instead. So I actually spend at least 1 to 2 minutes on turns 1 on turn 2 really forecasting the game. And then I'll play really rapid. Turns 3 and onward, I can play
Mm-hmm.
15-second moves like very quickly. And it's not really just doing what I'm going to play turn 1 or turn 2. It's really just thinking about how's the board state going to be evolved. And
Yeah.
even though Lorcana is a game of hidden information, how your opponent inks is giving you clues on what they're trying to do, what's in
Mm-hmm.
their hand.
Hmm.
So if someone plays Popsicle and inks High Room, they either have another High Room in their hand,
Yeah.
or they want to get that ramp to ensure that they can reach certain things. So,
Hmm.
okay, maybe I need to hold on to something. Maybe I shouldn't ink this. Or you know what? Since I have High Room, I should be going aggressive. I'll ink Strength of the Raging Fire and just go wide because they're going to draw, and I'm not going to be able to out. I need to be aggressive and put pressure as opposed to just trying to trade one for one. There's a lot of things. So again, it's very hard to figure these things out. So what I would also advise players is play open-handed. When
Uh-huh.
you're playtesting, I sometimes play open-handed. I have to learn so much because now I know what my opponent's trying to do, and I'll ask them, "Hey, if I ink this, what are you trying to do next turn?" Oh, then I probably should ink this. I should play
Yeah.
this. So if let's say, like I'll be honest, I'm a strong player. I reflect on my wins and losses very in the same degree. If I
Hmm.
win, I'm studying. Can I've inked better? Can I've done this? If I lose, I'm thinking of all the lines of play and everything. Could I have won this game? But
Yeah.
if you don't have that sort of like self reflection or that of strength, if you're not at that level to be able to really review your games and even provide feedback,
Hmm.
playing open handed, now you know you have absolute information. You could play optimally, and then if you
Hmm.
keep playing open handed, you'll eventually learn like, oh wait, every time I play open handed, I always do this, this, this. Maybe that's how you're supposed to be playing. So definitely, I would also ask players like if you don't have the strongest like competition to improve your skill or
Yeah.
just yourself, like maybe you have a hard time just scrutinizing your games. Playing open handed allows you to like eliminate a lot of those second guesses or like trying to figure out how things should play out because you have an open discussion. You could play
Yeah.
20 times a matchup and learn nothing. You really didn't advance. You play open handed like twice, you'll learn wait so much more. And especially from
Hmm.
someone like myself who I honestly like most of my prep for these DLCs are 5 games, literally 5 games. But I'll
Mm.
play a couple of them open handed so I can really learn. Or I'll talk to my opponent actively. Like, what are
Yeah.
you trying to do? If I do
Yeah.
this, let me take back my move and play this because at a DLC, I'm not gonna be able to. I had to like learn things on the like I won't be able to take back my moves. I want to play offline. So yeah,
Yeah. Really.
definitely these
Yeah.
are my suggestions as well.
Really good tips. Also, you know what what's helped me learn so much is recording my games. Like similar to that, I record my games and I also play with my hand facing the camera, so that way, in my videos when I review them, I look
Yeah,
at my misplays. And that's helped me grow so much. It's like
yeah,
I did it because I wanted to show my card games and I wanted to show my plays and the different
yeah,
decks that I build. But that in a way helped me become a better player as well because I see my misplays. I see the lines a little bit differently. And when you see it from a different perspective, you can really zone in on where you made mistakes and where you struggle as a player, if that makes sense.
yes,
Right? So,
absolutely.
so tell me about your experience getting top four in that was in Texas, right?
Yes.
So, what do you think
So
was different between that and say the other DLCs, like your first one getting top 66 in Atlanta?
so honestly, I think I am the same player, but so with my top four, I didn't own
Mm-hmm.
Steel Song. I was playing with random decks before in Sword
Mm-hmm.
Championships. I got the Steel Song. I was missing Ursula, Vanessa, and Robin Hood one drop Friday evening. Someone had to hand it to me. So my first round was
Yeah.
the first time I ever shuffled Steel Song. I played it a lot in Pixelborn in June, and I
Mm-hmm.
sent that deck list to various Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic pros I worked with in the past in the 2000s, and they
Mm-hmm.
all won their Sword Championships. So I knew the deck was good. So like I already knew my brew was good.
Yeah.
But every round I would be reviewing my games. And I lost round one. And to a player who was I think there was a difference in skill cap, but it is what it is. Like it's card games, but I don't get, I guess, dejected. I
Yeah.
keep pushing forward. As I was previously a boxer, and this really helped me. If I go on tilt, I get hit twice as much. I get hit hard. If I'm not focused, my defense is down, and I'm getting cracked even worse. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have short term memory. So I know the way I lost to a player not at my skill level
Mm-hmm.
and losing round one with DLC. Like I travel, you spend so much money on this event, you would think like, oh my god, like my day is ruined. And I know players who lose one game after round five and they scrub out. I just kept taking it one step at a time. And if anything, I thank my opponent. He made the path a little easier. Now I'm in the 0-1 bracket. So it's like and I was able to win out. And again, I kept reviewing every wins and loss the same way. Could have inked better, could have done a bit better line. So the player I was round 1 and the player I was round 9 are two different Steel Song players. Yeah. I knew how to play the deck by round 9 because I'm inking better. Like every single game, I would just after every round, I would evaluate every single game. Could have done better. So yeah, but in terms of I guess when I approach the top 4, in the top cut, I don't really I feel like I'm very focused. I'm focused on the task at hand. It's really just my boxing experience, just becoming comfortable with the uncomfortable. I would run every day. Every time I go to a challenge, I train at 5 a.m. in the morning. I go on a run. On Sunday of Seattle, it was raining outside. I went on my 5 a.m. run, just training.
Look at you, bro. Yeah, that's cool.
I just like to. I'm very comfortable in the uncomfortable. So once I'm in the feature match, high pressure situations, I'm I'm not going to get hurt. So in boxing, there's every time I stepped into the ring, I would feel so sick. I would be so nervous. And a lot of pros felt the same way. They're nervous. The anxiety is off the charts. But the minute that bell rings, that first punch is thrown, we're in heaven. This is what we do.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm flowing. Exactly. So that's what, but with Lorcana, I don't feel that anxiety just because I'm no. I've been in way worse situations. So I've been so accustomed to being comfortable in the uncomfortable that, in a tough cut, I feel like I play, and I'm not saying I played perfect. I made a misplay. In my 10-4 match, I threw the game. I didn't realize bare necessities because it's card flute. Yeah. I didn't realize that. The previous week I played Ursula 2-drop.
Just kidding. Come on,
the previous few weeks I was playing Ursula 2-drop, which only discards song. So I kept thinking bare necessities is the amber version of that. I was oh, I gotta discard a song. And then someone DM'd me why you discard flute? I'm oh yeah, that's a card.
Always learning. But learning. Yeah.
Exactly, but it happens. But I think and I'm glad that I wasn't a one-hit wonder. I'm glad in Vegas to Seattle I was able to again prove that.
Just exactly. Consistently, and you consistently made it. To your top 64 every challenge after Atlanta, because you ended up hitting top 64 in Texas, Vegas, and Seattle. So
yes,
very good run. That's amazing, man. And somebody in the chat says Chris is also part of the gains. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Chris works out too. Train your mind, train your body. But they complement each other. And there's a lot of research that says if you exercise prior to a very neurally demanding task, card games, you perform better. So say you go out for a run, just like Chris said, and during that day you end up playing card game or just doing work, your brain's going to function better. Your short-term, your long-term memory, your connections are actually, the synapses between your brain's connections are stronger. So you're essentially superhuman at that point. Yeah. Let's see that we have another. Another comment here. Jeremy says, "Congrats, Alvin. The only thing that could have made Seattle better was your name being Lorgains on stream. Super stoked." Actually, funny thing about that is when I was getting on stream, you know how they ask you for your name, Chris? How do you want your name being spelled out? Yeah. So they gave me a paper and they're like, "How do you want your name spelled out for the stream?" I wrote Lorgains. I wrote Lorgains on it. And I was like, "Here you go." They didn't say anything. And then after on the stream, I saw Alvin Hernandez. I was like, "Dude, what the heck?" Why they got to do me like that?
They micromanage a lot of things. I had a little logo on my polo. They made me wear a Mickey Mouse pen. Just they really they have a lot of eyes on what's on stream or what's put on. Unfortunately,
they do. Yeah, one of my interviews, I said shout out to all of my Lorgains community. I love you guys. You're the best. I appreciate all of you. And then they're like, we can't say that. We're gonna redo it. I'm like, okay, all right, let's do it. I'm just gonna say community. Is that okay? Yeah. They're like, let's check. Yes, that's okay. We can do that. It's all right, whatever. Yeah, so that's how it goes. Which is, it's fine. We have an opportunity, an amazing opportunity to be up there and get all these cool prizes and be, shown to everyone. So so it's part of the show. But yeah, really cool.
Exactly.
That's crazy, man. So how are you feeling about continentals? Is it regionals or continentals? What do you call it?
I call it continentals. I think it's just everyone who did well in the DLCs this year. Canada, some Puerto Ricans got in. I think
Yeah,
some guys from Mexico. So
yeah.
yeah, and the North, obviously the US. So yeah,
Hmm.
it's I'm excited for it. Yeah, just set six looks very promising. It's definitely gonna shake up the meta. I felt
Yeah.
the past two sets, this set and set four, has really just been set three with a little improved consistency for Ruby Sapphire. Emerald just
Hmm.
got a little stronger, but it feels like it's the same format. But I do think set six is definitely going to shake the meta up. A lot
Yeah,
of
yeah,
the pros I'm talking with are like, this is a brewer's paradise. Let's just say a
yeah,
brewer's paradise.
yeah. Well, we have more options now. Set six is coming out. We have so many more options. So I'm really excited to put on the chef's hat, huh?
Exactly. Yeah. And you did it. You
Time to
did well too. It was
time to
just
cook.
Mufasa. You represented Mufasa, man.
Exactly, bro. Representing Mufasa. My game plan was Steel Songs. I thought it was going to be stronger. Steel Songs. It might. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know. It might have been even better, but I decided to take Mufasa because I was having a lot of fun with it, and we made a poll on what I should practice with. And it was Mufasa and Steel Songs, and it was like 80% Mufasa, the 20% Steel Songs. So I was like, okay, I'll practice with Mufasa, and I
Yeah.
did, and I was like, this is fun. So I was like, I'm gonna take it
Yeah.
to Seattle, F it, and look at
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Here we are. Worked
So it's a
out.
community top 16. It's not just solely you. It's a community top 16.
It's
They
yeah,
chose the
we
deck for you, man.
the community made it to top 16 exactly. Yeah. And also guys, really quick, I just want to make a quick shout out or a big announcement. We are going to be I'm going to be covering the top 16 decks, so stick around after this interview. We have a few more questions for Chris, so we're going to be hanging out. We're all having a good time. You have some shout outs here I'm going to read out to you. I have shout out to Oyola for mentioning Puerto Rico. Wait, are you Puerto
Yeah,
Rican?
I am Puerto Rican. I am Puerto Rican, yeah.
Yeah.
Oyola, yeah.
Fellow
But I'm a Puerto Rican from New
Latino.
York.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I'm a Puerto Rican from New York. We don't speak Spanish, so I don't know Spanish, man. All the Puerto Ricans give me hate, man. Like they want to play me in Spanish, and I'm like,
Yeah.
nah, dude, that's not happening. I don't know, man.
That's awesome, dude. That's cool, man. Yeah, yeah. From your last name, I figured you're Latino. I was like, I actually haven't asked him. My wife,
Yeah,
my wife was like, is he Latino? I was like, yeah, he is. I actually never asked him, like, what,
yeah,
is he? He's from the
yeah,
East Coast. I was thinking that, I don't know, probably Puerto Rican. There's a lot of
yeah,
Dominicans, Cubans
yeah.
out there.
And
I'm the
and
West
Peruvian
Coast,
as
so we
well.
have Mexican. And you're what?
Yeah, Peruvian.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. Peru's
Yeah.
awesome. Cool, man. Also, Sean says Chris is just such a great player. His critical approach goes such a long way developing as a player. Yeah.
Yeah, appreciate it, Sean.
Cool, man. Yeah, everyone awesome is awesome here in the community. Big shout out to you guys for hopping on today. Stick around because we do have the deck lists coming up after. Just a few more questions with Chris here. Yeah. So, what do you do? Like, how does your life? How do you revolve? Like, how do you manage Lorcana with your life? Like, obviously, you have to practice,
Yeah,
but you also
yeah,
have to do your workouts. You have to work. You have to pay the
yeah,
bills. Like, how does Lorcana fit around your life
yeah,
schedule?
yeah. Yeah, so I'm a biomedical engineer. My company made testing for COVID and other diseases. So during
Mm,
COVID, I flew 120 times a year. Not
yeah.
not the exaggeration. Like no, it literally says 120 times a year I
Uh,
flew. With my job, basically I fix a lot of instrumentation and teach scientists and doctors how to run our instrumentation. I used to be a medical technologist running this sort of equipment, so I have the clinical knowledge, but I also know the software and everything. So with this job, it's emergency. So
yeah.
I because of that, I really don't play much Lorcana. Like honestly, like Pixelborn was a savior for me because I play on my
Uh,
flights. I would play in the hotel.
yeah.
I would play at 3 a.m. Like
Like
I
on your
play at odd
phone?
hours. So that's not on my laptop. On my
Oh, on your
laptop.
laptop. Okay.
Yeah, so I was able to get a lot. So I know how to play Lorcana. Even though I don't play it now, I put so much time invested early on to really master the game and
Yeah.
understanding the skills needed to be. But at this point, this is my struggle, and this is
Hmm.
why I'll be honest. I've been unable to brew. I
Yeah.
just stick with Steel Song because I know how to play the deck, and I'm gonna have to sound like a little arrogant, but it's the truth. I know if I run a Steel Song, there's probably not 5 Steel Song players who could play at my level in the world. The way I think the lines of play I take, I've taught a lot of people, or just people have asked me questions. I'll explain what I'm thinking because I know when you sit across from me as a Steel Song player, this is the first time you played a Steel Song player who would play at this level. So that's why I like to play the deck. It's just like and you know what I love about Steel Song? It's so much flow. Like I don't need to practice because every game I just have to understand the essence of the game. And my offensive is the offensive. What is my opponent doing? With other decks, it feels very linear. I got a ramp here, I got to draw here, I got to do this removal, but there's no right blueprint for playing Steel Song. Maybe this time I did like 40% of the time I damage my characters with my songs to heal up a Rapunzel. Sometimes I just play sometimes just play Rapunzel just for as a 1/5 body going wide. So some games I play Lawrence on turn 3. Some games I want to play Ariel. Like there's so many. It's so Steel Song is so fluid, which I love. That the only thing limiting your ability to master Steel Song is your imagination. Like I just love the deck so much. Like, and that's why I don't really need to like practice those. That's why I just feel once a die roll happens, I could just let my mind just like be curious, and I'll just like think I'll just think of various lines to play. So that I don't suggest doing this. Like honestly, I played a lot of card games at a high level, and my own card battle that I'm developing has a lot of freedom, similar to Lorcana. I built this knowledge base of how to approach card battlers in such a way because I'm constantly trying to break my game. My game has such free flowing, and definitely the game's called Battle for Justice. I know a little shout out to that. I'll be going to a lot of conventions next year, demoing some more. I usually go to PAX Unplugged, Origins. I went to New York Comic Con last year demoing, but I'm really trying to just focus on Lorcana. But yeah, it's just to manage all this like time and even exercising. Like I'll be honest, I'm getting back into exercise. I'm not like you, Alvin, man. So unfortunately during COVID, because I did all the traveling and my company gives me $100 a day for food. I used to be a boxer. I eat 4,000 calories. Dude, I'm flying and not training, but I eat 4,000 calories still. So I gained 45 pounds in a year. So I'm slowly going back to my middleweight because I fought at middleweight at 165 and I went up to like 215, like 210, 215. So I'm slowly going down, but it's a slow process. But my appetite's still the same. That's a problem.
Exactly.
I still love to.
Like your appetite's still high, but like the caloric burn is a little bit lower. Boxing is very, very highly demanding. It's very, very demanding. My wife, Miss Lorganes, has actually she used to box, not competitively, right, mate? Right? But she used to box, do some boxing classes here and there. She's very fit. We met in CrossFit, by the way. We met in a CrossFit class. Yeah. So that's how I was like, "What's up? What's up? You like lifting?"
So my wife did CrossFit, and we actually met in our college gym because previous to me being a combat fighter, I did a lot of powerlifting, power cleans, snatches, deadlifting. So she had to be critical of my power clean form. Like, oh, you got to engage your lats a little more and go underneath the catch. I'm like, all right.
There's so many little details in power in Olympic weightlifting, right? Like, so they look basic, but there's so many little details that you can fix and get better at in nitpicking with Olympic lifts. But I love Olympic lifts as well.
And then I got her back. I'm like, well, your squat is not too low. Like, you got to go a little more ass to grass. Right? ATG. So I'm like, come on.
ATG.
So but
that's awesome. I have a question here for you. So Ricky says, what advice would you give to somebody wanting to play the list but has no Rapunzels?
So that's a little tough. But there's our aggro approaches. If you want to play Steel Song, I think you can get away with the 3-drop Maribel character. I forgot the one that heals 2 and draws a card.
Madre something. I mean, they're all Madrigal, but Julieta.
Madre. I think it's a 1/4.
Yeah,
you can run that. You can play Naveen's. It's a little cheaper. In terms of price, it's still legend. I also did run Naveen's, by the way, just a little short segue. I don't believe it's that good. I did cut Naveen's from Vegas. I just feel like you never want to cast it for a whole new world. You want to cast it with a removal spell like Zeus or Strength.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, with with so much removal in this format, as well as like Emerald still being a premier deck, where it's stripping your songs that I never want to cast them in. And it being uninkable is a problem because I can't get rid of it when it's a dead card. And surprisingly, it makes Strength an uninkable card. The reason being is I want to cast Naveen to cast my Strength. So then I can no longer ink my Strength. It sort of restricts me. And like I described, Steel Song is so much flow that I want to be able to ink anything at a moment's notice. So I just felt like my ability to like play the game was restricted whenever I played Naveen. So that's why I cut it, and I don't regret that decision. So if we go back with Rapunzel, Queens also, you can maybe, if you don't play Queens, definitely Queen would be a great suggestion. Gaston, it would just be more focused on the whole new world points. Or Look at This Family. Look at This Family is another excellent card that I've tried in the past. So with Cindy, Juan, Ursula, Vanessa, and with Gaston, now you can still get like some of your draw and still replenish, because Rapunzel is such a good draw engine that you really need it, but you can't find a way to just play without it. And then there's like an aggro approach. I believe Boomy Jr., I'm not too sure of his real name, but I know that's his melee name. He's top Vegas, and this past one, he did like an aggro approach with Spin and Piglets. You might be able to get away without running Rapunzel. He may not be running Rapunzel. So if you just want to run the Ember Steel package, that's another approach you can do as well.
Or you can run locations.
Exactly. Exactly. That's so.
Bro, that was insane, right, dude? That deck. Like, what is this
but it was
monstrosity?
It was an excellent meta call, though.
It was.
On Friday, it was all Ruby Sapphire and Emerald Steel in the field and in the constructed side events, and that's a great call. Both decks cannot deal with locations, and Amber Steel has excellent pressure. So of course, just let the locations lead you to victory.
So I have a question from Mix Up Mark. Mark is asking, Chris, if you weren't running Steel Song, what deck would you run?
So Steel Song, I honestly don't believe is the best deck in the format. It's just something I feel very comfortable with because of my lack of practice. But Emerald Steel is the best deck in the game. If you're a Steel Song lover, I do think the matchup is actually 50-50. At the highest level, if I'm playing against Zan, 10 matches, I believe it's 55-45 in their favor, where it'd be 2 wins in a best out of 2 format. He would win 3 games, I would win 2 and 5 draws. It's so minimal, but if players aren't at Zan's level, it's really 50-50. But Emerald Steel, I believe, is the best deck. Then Ruby Sapphire, and then I would probably throw it to Steel Song. And maybe Ruby Amethyst. But I just love that Steel Song sort of just regardless of what I like about Emerald Steel and Steel Song is regardless of how you open, they have play. I feel with Ruby Sapphire, if you don't hit your high rooms or some of that early ramp, the deck sort of loses to itself. But Emerald Steel and Steel Song rarely lose to itself. Yes, it can get outclassed, most definitely, in terms of power level. But they always have games. So I'll always choose a deck like Emerald Steel or Steel Song to play because I never want to enter a tournament where I feel like, oh, I got paired against aggro, I ought to lose, or I drew things in a different order and I ought to lose. I want to feel like even if I'm going to lose at the end, at least the first 10 turns were contentious, where maybe I could have played better, or maybe one draw would have shifted the game, as opposed to the game's over by turn 3 where I did nothing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Nice, dude. We got a question here. I definitely want to hear your answer on this one. What are your thoughts on Grab Your Sword being run in an Amber Steel deck? Amber Steel Songs deck. This is by Rob420.
So I think Grab Your Sword is bad. It's only good against Prince John. I don't think, as I said before, Emerald Steel isn't that bad of a matchup. So Grab Your Sword against the rest of the meta doesn't really play a role. Ruby Sapphire you don't want it against. Ruby Amethyst, even the mirror match you don't really want it. And the aggro decks like the hyper aggro, you have your early songs and your characters to sort of outclass their characters, so you don't really need it. Emerald Steel is the only one where I would want it somewhat, but it's not necessary. And with Emerald Steel, how I also evaluate the matchup is gauge matchups. I like to grade it in three degrees. If we sculpt the best 7 cards for both decks, give the best 7 cards to Emerald Steel, best 7 for Steel Song, I'm never winning that match. because Emerald Steel just dismantles my hand and gets so much advantage from Diablo or Ursula 3-drop. If we draw average, both, or below average, I feel as a Steel Song player, I will win that match. Or I have the tools to succeed to win the match. And Grab Your Sword really doesn't enhance that. It's just Cindy Stoutheart. It allows me to get rid of the ward. If we go based on that logic, they won't have the nutty Prince John just like discarding everything. I would consider that a really above average or the God Hand. So I don't feel like Grab Your Sword would even help. Or even if I had to Grab Your Sword, I have to get it with off aerial and then sing it. If I'm just holding it, if it gets hit by Pete, I mean, if they play Pete, exactly. So it's like the one good matchup is they have 2 cards that play 4-ups that sort of stunt it or stop it. So I would run it. And again, it's also uninkable. I'm very in Lorcana, there needs to be a strong reason ever to run an uninkable. If there's anything if there's anything marginally in the same level as it that's inkable, run that instead.
Yeah.
So because in Steel Song, the unink and versus unink is very tight. I don't want to run Grab Your Sword because there's no way for me to really like get rid of that uninkable in my hand. Like Sapphire could just always TPO it or fishbone it if they have like an uninkable. But with Steel Song, it's just stuck in my hand, unfortunately.
Yeah. It is really bad early game. And I think it's also pretty bad late game. I feel like the sweet spot is so like the margin where it's good is so small that it just doesn't, it's not, it doesn't feel the best.
It was good when Bucky was around because you needed it now. Like I played it with Bucky when Bucky was around because I needed it. But now it's like, and some Emerald Shield run 3 Prince John, so it's like it lost its like a luster. And also if they put it under Hidden Cove, like Diablo under Hidden Cove or Prince John under Hidden Cove, Grab Your Sword is like dead. So like they have ways to play around it as well.
They drop a Cove and you're like, okay, what do I do now? What does Brawl do?
Exactly.
Cove is a crazy card. I have a question here by Mark. He says, Chris, you mentioned other TCGs earlier. What are some of the other TCGs that you've played for those that are not familiar with your background?
Yep. So I played Yu-Gi-Oh during high school from 2005 and 2009. Then I played mostly games online because I was in college, working out, boxing, internships, working, relationships. So I did Magic. I played Magic, but on the computer. They had an application to like go to the Pro Tour, but I never tried to go to the Pro Tour, so I played it very competitively against a lot of pros. I played Hearthstone. That's a digital card game. They're Blizzards, so I played that a lot in between classes. So I would do like matches like 30 minutes. So like and played Marvel Snap a little bit, and I did play. I think that was it. I'm trying to think about any other card battlers I played. I think there's like another one, and yeah, I think that's all. But with boxing, it was an obsession. I would play. I would train 3 to 4 hours, 6 days a week for many years. So with card games, I play card games a lot. Like I'd find odd hours. Like maybe I would come home at 11 at night, so I would be drafting Magic from like midnight to like 3 a.m. Wake up at 6 a.m., 7 a.m. Go to work or whatever. Like.
You're an animal, bro.
I love card. Yeah, I love card battlers.
This was early 20s.
Yeah, exactly. Now I'm like,
bro.
So for every DLC, like I'm rarely focused. Like I'm like energized. I could play like 7 more rounds. The minute I get to the hotel at like 9:30 after day 1, I'm collapsed. I'm knocked out. I'm like, I'm an old man now. Like I need to I need my beauty rest. Like my curfew is like 10 o'clock during the DLCs. Nah.
Yeah, no, bro. I feel you on that one, man. I definitely need my sleep when I do these challenges. Like the night before, we had the option of doing a red eye on Thursday night to arrive Friday morning. I did that for Texas, and in Texas during the DLC, I was just cooked. Because your sleep is just bad on the plane. You're not going to get good sleep on the plane. You arrive in the morning, so you have to find a time to check in, to still get some sleep, and feel good for the next day for the tournament. So that was very rough. But this time we left here, we flew out of here at 10 something. So we arrived at a perfect time, we got a good sleep, and we felt amazing. So that makes a big difference. For me, sleep is very, very crucial, and it's also very good for your memory. So it just makes sense So how do you think Lorcana compares to previous card games or other card games?
I love Lorcana because it's a very so I got with games design, just theory. The best games are simple games. Keep it simple. So
Mm,
look at chess. I
yeah.
can teach anyone how to play chess within 2 minutes,
Yeah.
but to master chess is a lifetime.
Yes.
So what I love about Lorcana is the ink system is such a simple game. The ink system brings so much depth.
Oh my God.
In
Yeah.
Magic, Magic's actually is more complex, but it's harder because of its complexity.
Uh-huh.
But to actually play, it's not actually that hard because they have a land system. They include um um cards that are strictly ink in their deck. If you never played Magic,
Yeah.
but it's a very easy decision. Like, oh, I'm forced to play my land for the turn, my ink for the turn. But in
Mhm.
Lorcana, you have complete freedom to do whatever you want. Where you can ink your 1 drop or your 7 drop. You can ink your 3 drop. There's nothing in the there's nothing really forcing you to do anything in Lorcan, and I love that because that's where you can see people's skill be
Yeah.
enhanced. Like
Hmm.
it removes a lot of the luck element, and with Yu-Gi-Oh, um, it's been a little more luck based, like because of the lack of mulligans.
Yeah.
In Lorcan, you're able to sculpt your hand a little better.
Hmm.
And that's so like in comparison, I love Lorcan because of the depth. It's a simple game, but it solved a lot of issues with the ink system, and because it's restrictions, unlike Yu-Gi-Oh, where you could just play whatever you want. Oh no, I forgot. I did also play Pokemon online when it was on the
Okay.
computer. So I played other,
Yeah.
yeah. So I played a good amount of games where, yeah, I do think in order to have a balanced in card battlers, there needs to be a resource system. You shouldn't have, I guess, like solitaire. And unfortunately, I think Yu-Gi-Oh progressed to the point where it was just if I memorize a PDF, I can
Yeah.
excel. Yu-Gi recently had an application called Master. I mean, they have an application ongoing
Master
called
Duel.
Master
Yeah.
Duel. I haven't played in 13 years, 14 years. I downloaded it. I looked at a website called Master Duel Meta.
Yeah.
I found that I literally read a PDF
Hmm.
and I just remembered that PDF and I became like one of the top players in the game. I'm like, I didn't play. I just
You're a machine, bro.
memorized a PDF.
It's because you're a
No, no,
machine.
but like, no, I remember.
Just kidding. Yeah.
No, I
Yeah.
remember. No. I did, and I didn't even think. I remember as a PDF, and something happens. Oh,
Yeah.
then I look at page 2. Oh, if that happens, go to page 3. Oh, I drew this. Go refer to page 7, and then
Uh-huh.
go. I'm like, no. I'm not playing the game. With Lorcana, it's like, oh, there's no like roadmap that I must take. I could
Mhm.
go. I could do whatever path I want, and I'll still go to the final
Yeah.
destination, which is winning.
Leaves so much to the imagination, which I also love too.
Yeah.
I have a really good question. Another good question. So Andrew WD asks, throwing in set 6 discussion, where do you see Amber Steel? Any revealed cards that intrigued you for Amber Steel coming up on deck set 6?
So I'll be honest. If I'm playing Steel Song and Continentals,
Hmm.
I probably made a mistake with my playtesting. I don't really think Amber Steel, as we know it, is that strong. Sapphire gained too many tools,
Yeah.
but I
Oh,
did
so many
see
tools.
a reveal recently. Wreck-It Ralph.
Yes.
That is something that actually like makes me interested of playing Steel as a whole.
Mhm.
And I think they just revealed today Gontu, a 5-drop that gains 4 lore. So we may have to switch the mindset of
What?
playing.
Gone to?
Yeah, it's a
Uh-huh.
4/3 that gains 4 lore, and it's inkable. Sorry, and it's inkables too. So yeah, those are the things that I'm really interested. That the Wreck-It Ralph, you could gain 3 lore, and then if you banish any item or location on either side, you
Mhm.
gain 2 additional lore. So I'm looking at like, okay, maybe you could play a mid-range deck where you're sort of like controlling the board and let these powerful threats gain the last lore. So I may
Okay.
have to shift the mindset of Steel Song, but I'll be honest, it's not boding well just because I think Sapphire just got too many tools. And
Yeah.
even Amethyst, I'm really excited about that Genie, the 7-drop that every time you play a card, you draw a card.
Oh
That's
yeah.
something I would
Sounds fun.
try to break.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
I don't know.
Wait,
I
did
don't,
you say
I don't know.
Gone to? Are you talking about Wreck-It Ralph?
No, yeah, no, but Gauntlet, I think it just got released. It was like, let me see.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it. Gone to. He's a what? What are his stats?
Uh, Let me see. I think it was just released today.
Mm-hmm.
Gontu, it's a 5-drop. It's a 4/3 inkable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was released about tweeted like a couple hours ago. It's a 4/3, no effect. gains 4 lore.
Oh, this guy. Yeah.
Captain, this, yeah. That's something I'd be like,
Yeah.
okay.
4-3 quest for 4. Wow. Those are some heavy stats, bro. Those are some very heavy stats. I like it.
And that's something that Steel lacks is like guys that gain a lot of lore. There's a lot of 2 lore, so that's why you have to play like a mid range, a long game. But this could be like a top curve, or this could be like, hey, use all your removal to stabilize the game. Then use Gontu and that Record Ralph to give you like 9 lore, like 5 lore, like huge massive swings. Obviously, throughout the game, you'll be gaining 1 or 2 lore here and there, but then if you're at 11 lore, these guys present like 2-turn clocks. So this is where I'm like, I'm very interested. Maybe that could be a different approach.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest. I think Sapphire got too many tools. So unfortunately,
many, yeah. I do like the Gontu. Yeah. I do like the Simba, the new Simba, and I do like the Wreck-It Ralph. I feel like they're really cool tools, and they happen to be Amber Steel. So Mufasa Steel. What's up?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Let's see. I have a question here. Okay. I do have a question. So, speaking of Continentals, you say you won't play Amber Steel. Any tips on what you're thinking about playing? Okay, so what are your plans for Continentals? So for now, like, what are your current plans? Like, what do you think? And if it's something that you want to keep on the wraps, then you don't have to share.
No. I mean, it's going to be very obvious to players. I mean, I'm going to try to break Genie. If I break Genie, or Genie is like a deck, I don't think that's going to be a good format, to be honest. Like, after Continentals, like, Genie says anytime you play a card, draw a card, like, that's kind of degenerate. So I'm hoping I don't break Genie, but I'm looking at like Sapphire. Just Sapphire base decks. I think Sapphire Steel could look good. Sapphire, Ruby Sapphire. Like, obviously, I think just Sapphire has too much consistency. Now everything's inkable now. So I think the one way, like, I harped on Sapphire decks, like Ruby Sapphire, for example, was sometimes they'd brick with the uninkables, or they would just have they would just have dead cards like that didn't serve any purpose. But now, like, even if you have ramp, you don't no longer need ramp. You could just ink it and still play your threat. So I think Sapphire just got a little too strong, and it was already one of the strongest colors in the game. Yeah. So I think so. Really, it's going to be Sapphire is what I'm going to be trying. What color I end up with, that's going to be a totally different matter. And then it's just a lot of theory crafts right now. And I'll be working with some excellent players for Continentals. I hope we can finally break the format.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. Awesome, really cool stuff. Let me see if you guys have any other questions before we wrap up our talk with Chris, and before I jump into the lists from the weekend Seattle DLC. Let me know in the comments right now. Someone said, someone's like Steel Fossa would be a good addition to Steel Fossa. No, it's looking good. Anything else that you want to close out with, Chris, before we wrap up here?
So I hope that I'm trying to be working with other content creators, definitely offer any insights. Like, we don't even have to talk competitive. As a game designer, I try to think of community first. So, like, if you'll want thoughts on how I could fix set championships in a way, maybe card design, game theory, I want the community to grow, and you shouldn't cater to the competitive player like myself. Like, I'm not the one paying the bills. I don't buy boxes and boxes. I don't go into the LGSs for stores. Like, I think I have potential solutions or ideas that could definitely grow. And what I love about Ravensburg organized play, they're constantly evolving. They're constantly seeking feedback. So I hope in Continentals, I'll be able to provide some insight, how can we grow the community even more and more? Like, for example, the New York area, our set championships were quite expensive, like $50, $40, and very top heavy. And
$50, $40 for set champs? Oh my God. Yeah.
And I played in 8 of them, like between the stitches, like 2, 3, 2, or whatever, the 3, 2, 3.
Yeah.
I've won, like, I play matted in 5 of them, won 7 promos and top 8. Like, if I'm playing, there's a high likely chance I'm probably going to do well in. And it hurt me that like, some players are really trying hard, and I'm like, why not we lower the cost? Like, I don't care about top heavy prizes. I don't care. I'm here to practice. I come with my brews. I come with random ideas. Like I want the community to be happy. And people were feeling like after the after the eighth tournament, wait, I just spent like $400 traveling, food, and maybe like I don't have anything to show for it. And I'm like, let's lower the price entry, and that's what people did. And now people are playing more. They're excited. They don't feel burnt out. And what Ravensburg put 8 promos, I love that. Like I really don't care about the secondary market. Like, oh, it tanked the promo values. Like, no, the community is happier. When I played Yu-Gi-Oh, my first top 8 at a regional was the happiest moment like ever. Like it finally validated my skill. I was so excited, and I want other players to feel that way. You know, I'll let my prowess and skill be at the highest level, continentals, DLCs, world championship. That's where I want recognition. But a story championship, I want others to feel it. I want them to feel happy. I want them to feel the way I feel. This is their continentals. This is their world championship. And if they could feel that joy and get motivated to play more and more, so be it. I want that. Like I lost one of my set championships in the finals. I played something random. The person who beat me copied my Las Vegas list, and she asked me questions like how to play it a little better, and she beat me in the finals. And it was like poetic that I lost to what I played, and I was like so happy. Like I was so happy that she was able to win, and obviously it's great for her. Like, hey, she got champion, but also she beat a strong player. Like, you know, I like now like she messaged me like, oh, I got you, you know, and her middle name is Puppy Cat. Now her new name is Wolf Tiger. I was telling you, change your name to Wolf Tiger. You beat me, you know, retire Puppy Cat. That's too cute. You're a killer. So you know, I love that when people like, again, I know how it was back in the day when I was doing well, you know, like I want people to feel the same way. Like people, you go to these tournaments to win, you know, I know that you want to go for fun, but like winning is just gravy. So like if more people could feel that sort of feeling. Yeah. So definitely, I hope I could like talk with other community members just to offer my ideas, and maybe we could build some traction. Yeah. And then, and I'm hoping to do training moving forward. Like a lot of people message me daily on Facebook Messenger, Discord, or IG. I could send you the my profiles if you want message. I'm very I'll respond to you. I'm not like one of those pros who will be like, hey, don't talk to me, or like you got to pay me to like. If you have questions, I'll answer. You know, may not be right away, but I'll try at my best. Like, you know, I travel a lot for work, but there'll be times where I could message you like a huge like 5 straight paragraphs, and I'll give you all the insights on how to play the game or whatever. But there might be times where it might be 4 days I don't respond back because I'm just like, life is busy.
Life. Exactly. Life happens, and then it's not like a quick. It's not. I mean, if it's a longer question, it's not as easy as just being like, oh, do this, and this. Like sometimes you have to just like dial in and be like, okay, it's this, and this. Got a little bit more elaboration with your answers, right?
Yeah. And I'm gonna try to metafy some coaching, because a lot of people do ask me how to play Steel Song, but I'm actually gonna approach like, if someone does register for my metafy class, it's not about playing Steel Song, it's about playing the game. Like I mentioned before about thinking about turn 3. I want to teach players how to play aggro, how to approach the game of Lorcana, how to ink, because I know this is, for some people, this is their first card battler. And I think I have enough knowledge based on my success, as well as just as a boxer, I train amateur fighters. In my job as an engineer, I train engineer. I have a natural I feel natural teaching people. So if I could give people the skills to become better at this game, so be it. Like I would like to. I want the community to get better, and that, you know, if I could do that in any way, and I would just focus more like on playing the game, how to approach aggro. People often think like, oh, aggro's brainless. Not really. Aggro is quite challenging at times, because you need to weigh a lot of pros and cons. Do I walk into this? Do I walk into this? Do I have enough pressure on the board? Should I ink this? There's a lot of micro decisions that at the highest level, there's a reason why some aggro players consistently top, and some can just spike one tournament and you never hear again. So if I could provide some of the theory behind playing aggro at a high level, you know, I could definitely dispel a lot of myths about playing aggro and help people improve. Get from, hey, I top once in a while and like don't and regress, where I could have you topping at a high level. Like the finalists actually thanked me. Sean, he was messaging me like he was DMing on Discord leading up to the tournament, just asking me questions, and I'll be asking, and he was talking. And on Saturday, he was like, "Oh my God, Oyola, it's so great to meet you. Thank you so much for your input." And I'm like, and then I see him on day 2. I'm like, "Oh yeah, good job, Sean." And then we were just talking and everything. He's like, "Oh man, you taught me so much. Like, here's my fiance or a girlfriend. I forgot." He's like, oh yeah, we're really grateful. And then he was like, thanking me, like, oh my God, you really helped me think about Steel Song in a different way. And I kept saying like, man, stop thanking me. You're playing well. Have that confidence. So before the finals, we were talking about the Emerald Steel, and so I was like talking to him for 20 minutes, like, oh, you gotta do this, try ink this, and then we were going back and forth on like plays and everything. Unfortunately, didn't close it out, but I kept telling him like, man, it's on you, man. You played perfectly this week, man. You are amazing. Like, just exude confidence when you play. So fortunately, didn't close it out, but if I was able to help Sean, like not fully, like I wasn't coaching him, but just help him in some way to think about the game differently and get second place at a DLC, and he thanks me for my efforts, I think I have some value to offer.
Definitely.
Maybe I can help some of your audience. So yeah.
Yeah, awesome, man. Also, I never got your socials, so you can plug in. Is it okay to plug in something where people can reach you, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I could do. I get.
You can send it to me through Discord. And then we'll post it in the description. So guys, we'll post it down in the description. He's gonna send it through Discord. And another really fast closing little statement here. Could you briefly crack down on my deck and grill me on anything that you would have changed here? Wait, do you have it? Do you have the visual open?
No.
Okay.
So I just see your beautiful face, Alvin.
Oh, okay. Unfortunate. All right. So how do I pop this out for you? Ooh, I know what to do. Command Shift 4, screen shot, move. Ah, shoot, it didn't do it. Okay. I'll just share it with you right now. Upload a file so you can take a look. Downloads. Documents, applications, recent. Here we go. There it is. Boom. You see it?
Oh, beautiful. Okay. Yes. All right. Yeah. So let's see. Mufasa.
You're like, play something else. Just kidding.
No.
Just kidding.
Let's see. Let me see the uninkables accounts. We got 4, 5, 8, 12. Okay, that's fine. You don't need aerial. Single shafts. Document. One card I do like a lot is Gaston. I'm trying to think with a doc. I mean, turn 4. There's nothing overtly wrong. Like nothing like, oh my gosh, it's like screaming out to me like, oh, you should do this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're playing the wide approach, I would probably play more because you're playing Mufasa. I'll be honest. If you want to field, you're such a troll, man.
What?
It's your list.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's what I said.
Oh! I thought it was a viewer sent their deck doctoring.
No.
Sorry.
This is my list. I'm not trolling.
I
was like, could you grill me on my list and see if there's anything like that I could have done differently.
So to be honest, did Mufasa really help you, or do you feel like Amber Steel as a whole was the thing? Like I feel like your aggro is protected by Chien-Pao, because I've heard from a lot of Steel Song players that Chien-Pao is a very good card.
Yeah.
It just feels did Mufasa really help, or is just really Amber Steel good stuff? And then because I played Mufasa decks like 56 characters or 60 characters, and I removed the Mufasa just because I felt like if I hit the Mufasa, it's such a weak play turn 5 when I rather just go wide, go aggressive, or maybe I'll emphasize more on the Chernobog, for example. Like, I rather play all the characters, they beat prep, I just play the Chernobog. So sometimes I've not played Mufasa in the past. So I'm just curious, like, was Mufasa actually good, or just because Amber still has such a strong package?
Yeah, I feel like he was one of the MVPs. He did put in a lot of work. It usually came down to what I was playing against too. I mean, obviously he's very good against red or into the red decks, because he replaces himself. And also, I feel like he did put in a lot of work. The one that didn't put in too much work was the Beast because he just felt a little too slow.
Yeah.
As a turn, you're usually inking him because you have so many
Yeah.
other like better options to play on turn 5. And if you ramp, well, you want to. Sometimes I would ramp, or sometimes I would play a turn 3 and then the dock, and then something else on turn 4, and then the 5 cost character. Like the Tinkerbell was also really good.
Yeah. Have you played Pluto before? Like, I do like Pluto in non. I mean, I know you're playing Mufasa, but I've tried Pluto in non Mufasa builds just as a ramp thing, just either getting bodyguard or like setting up dock. Like, if you play Pluto into dock, like that's such good tempo, and then if you untap with Pluto, forget about it. You're gonna be playing 5 drops. So I'm wondering if you played Pluto before.
Yeah. No, actually, no. I played it in Red Mufasa, but I didn't play it in this one. So what would you cut for the Pluto? Would you go just cut like the song package with Cindy?
How was the Tinkerbell the 4-drop one?
She put in a lot of work. She
Put in
honestly put in a lot
work.
of work. Yeah, it's just even though it was open deck list, Tinkerbell was very unexpected. The shift.
Yeah, no, of course, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and the flexibility.
And you lost the emeralds.
Yeah.
So the problem with Mufasa, I mean, Mufasa typically is the Emerald Steel matchup because you said you had a good Ruby Sapphire. I think you told me you 4-0'd. I mean, you 2-0'd 4 times Ruby Sapphire day 1. So I'm trying to see how you could shore up the Emerald Steel matchup. That's what I'm like.
Emerald Steel was
Heats
rough.
are good.
That was rough. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess Tinkerbell does. I lost 0-2 to another one. So it's like.
So I'm wondering, and how is the Beast in that? I mean, that should be the matchup, no?
The Beast
against Emerald Steel. That should be the matchup, right? If you could resolve Beast right away, correct?
Yeah, the thing was getting far enough for the Beast. Usually at that point, you're running on resources, and you end up inking the Beast. But it didn't really come up too much.
Okay.
Maybe my game plan was a little different. But into the 2 games, it ended up being a little bit more of an aggro approach on with Emerald Steel.
And for the Let the Storm Rage On I know Let the Storm Rage On obviously is a very good card, but I'm just wondering maybe playing Rank, because I think the Uninked is a really like, how is Let the Storm Rage On? Because you're not running as many Cinders. The only one really triggering is Cindy 1, and then you just like hard cast it how is Let the Storm Rage On this weekend?
So previously, my list was 4 strength. I didn't have any storms.
Yeah,
and
that's what I was going to suggest.
Yeah, and I ended up adding the storms. There were so many times where I didn't need the storm, and I didn't know what to do with it because it's uninkable. So I think this was possibly a little bit of a mistake. Keeping this at 4 is the best because it's inkable, because it can hit for 1 for every character.
Exactly.
It just has so much punch behind it. But I prefer this at 4, and maybe this, I don't know, maybe cut it completely. Just being inkable is so good.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking. Like, now that I like really seeing, like, I would probably definitely cut the Let Storm Rage On, play 2 strengths. Cool. I mean, how's the Chernobog? I mean, I know Chernobog quite well, but I know when it's like a dead card, or sometimes it's just like obviously the perfect card.
Yeah.
How is it this format?
In one game, it was it was my opener, so it was a dead card in one game.
Yeah.
In the rest of the games, the only time it shined was hitting it off Mufasa. The rest of the games, I didn't see it because I always put it back for the mulligan, of course. But it wasn't really a game-changing card. If I think I could replace this with an inkable, and that would probably put in a little more work.
Yeah, and when I tried to remake Chernobog Turbo for set 4 and set 5, with the release of Along Came Bruno, it sort of like nullifies the greatness of Chernobog. Playing it for free or playing for cheap, like I've actually I've been less in love with Chernobog just because it once it gets bounced back, either it gets discarded, so it's basically a Dragon Fire,
Yeah, yeah,
or they shuffled up. I mean, you just shuffled up your discard pile, so now it's like a dead card. Like they discard something else, and you
exactly.
have a dead Chernobog in it. So yeah,
Yeah.
I probably cut that.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe you could like, and I probably focus more on the ramp, maybe like Pluto or maybe Gaston's to really play more beasts. I know you said the
Yeah.
beast wasn't really that good, but against Emerald Steel, that's how you would get catch up, and
Mm-hmm.
definitely abilities to play a beast like early on would
Yeah.
definitely shore up the matchup.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah, that's a
so
really good
that's something
approach that I can try out. Yeah.
yeah, and since you cut the let the storm rage on, and you added two more, your song count is, I mean, sorry, your non characters are less now, and
Mm-hmm.
definitely Mufasa becomes a little more stronger.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
agree. Yeah, I do like those ideas.
yeah.
Somewhat of what I was thinking somewhat the same stuff, but
Okay,
you really nailed. I feel like you really nailed it. You really nailed it. Thank you.
all right,
Awesome,
perfect.
Chris. Yeah, appreciate you, man. Alrighty, guys. Well, that is it for our time with Chris. We have the list for Top 64 Seattle coming right up, so stick around. Chris, thank you so much for hopping on and talking to us and hanging out with the
Yeah,
community. It was really a
yeah.
pleasure. Guys, big
Appreciate
shout
the
out
love,
to
man. Yep.
Chris. And yeah, all right, awesome, brother.
All right, take it easy, man.
Thank you, man. We'll stay in touch.
See you in Continentals.
See you in Continentals. All right, see you, man.
All right, man. Bye, bye.
All right, guys, awesome. That was a fun time with Chris. Awesome, awesome guy. I met him at DLC Atlanta. We ended up 1-1 that time. But that was really cool to hop on and talk with a community member, a fellow community member that's been doing so well in the challenges, and so very, very insightful, a lot of great advice. So I hope that was great stuff for you guys, great content. We have the list coming up, and yeah, I ended up here. Let me take a little break, and then we'll come back and go over the deck list, and I'll chat a little bit more about the DLC Seattle experience that I had. So we'll be right back, guys. Don't go anywhere. All right, guys, we are back. We are back. So big shout out to you guys, everybody that's hopped on for today's live. We're going to be covering our top 64 deck list from Seattle. We got some mega spicy stuff at the end. The very, very last deck list is insane. You've probably gotten the spoiler, but we're going to cover it today and see what we think about it. Sean P, big shout outs really quick to the people on the chat. Sean P ended up getting Let It Go. Awesome. Congrats, man. 1 win away from joining in this top 64. That's amazing, guys. Mix Up Mark, you're amazing, man. Like, thanks for all the hype. Appreciate you. Spirit Feet missed me in Seattle. Oh no. I hope you go to Continental's LCQ. That would be awesome. Sean P, autism awareness. Let's go. Cheers, Sean P. Cheers to you guys. Sean P says, "What's up, brother? Met you and your wife at the Pillar outside. We had a good convo. Proud of your performance. Keep it up. Hope you stay in touch. Also with your nephew." Yes, that's awesome, man. That was an awesome interaction with you and great convos. You are very cool people. Brad Chandler, Chandler Beans, what is up, man? JT Balls getting great closing statement from Chris. Yep, definitely was. Whoop. Take off the BRB here. But yeah, everybody that just hopped on is new to the channel. If you haven't subbed, smash that sub button. Guys, we've made so many tremendous gains on the channel. We're already at 6,500 subs, which is mind-blowing. It was really fun to meet every single one of you guys at the DLC Seattle. It was such an awesome experience. And we ended up, guys, making top 16. I lost to first place in top 16 against Luke Green Steel, but it was an amazing game, such an amazing experience, and we ended up coming home with these bad girls. Woo! Look at the bling, guys. So cool. So blessed, guys, honestly. Teacher of Math, what's up? Thank you so much. It was cool meeting you. It was cool seeing you again, teacher. Okay, guys, let's hop into the deck list here. We have Blue Steel by Mark Navarro getting top 64. Let's freaking go. Congrats, Mark, on getting your top. Mark's a good buddy of mine. He's from Locals, so he crushed it with his Blue Steel. He did amazing, so big shout out to you, man. Janam, I did get the mat as well. Do you guys want to see the mat? Let me know if you want to see the mat. I do have it with me. But here, let's pull it up. Let's get a close up here. Let's pull up the awesome mat. All right, here we go. Check this out. Sean P, welcome to Phil's Trainees. Awesome. Sean P just joined. Look at that. Sheesh. Sean P, our first member. That's awesome, man. Thank you so much, brother. Appreciate you. But yeah, that is our mat, and it's so sick. I have to roll it up for now. Next time we just got a mat holder, one of the big mat holders. So that one should be nice. All right. Also, guys, I want to show you. I want to show you one more thing. One more really cool thing. Yo, Mix Up Mark, member number 2. Thanks for joining, man. That's awesome, brother. Thank you so much, Mark. Let's freaking go. Appreciate you guys so much. All right, show your stuff when you go over your deck and show your interviews. All right, guys. All right, cool. So I want to show you guys the shout out that I did for my fam during my interview after getting top 16. So this was post. Let me see if I can share this. Stay tuned, guys. Let me share one more thing before we hop into the deck lists. Whoopsie. Wrong share. Mac Mini. But yeah, appreciate you guys so much. The support was unreal. Absolutely unreal. I got to meet so many new people. So many other people that I had met already. It was very cool. Let me know if you were there at the DLC. If you were at DLC. Okay, let's see here. 1 second. One second, guys. Okay, we're just gonna hop into the deck list. I wanted to transfer something over to my my Mac or onto here so I can share with you guys, but I don't know if it's allowing me to. Let's give it one more shot here. Okay, sending. All right, it's going through. All right, we got it, guys. Let me show you this super quick. So this is open. Let's open it up here. Video capture device. Screen capture. Boom, boom. It's a little smaller, but you guys can still see it, right? Make it as big as I can. Boom. All right, guys. So this is when I played the locations deck, which was insane, by the way. The locations deck was insane. It was such a cool experience playing against Alvaro. He's from Puerto Rico, and he started playing a month ago. Insane. He started playing a month ago, and he built this deck for the meta. I was like, dude, why did you build this deck? He's like, oh, because it was for the meta. You know, I thought it would be good, and it did so well. He made it to top 16. Which, big props to you, man. We're going to play the ending of our game, of our match. I ended up winning 2-1, and this pushed me off to top 16. So big shout out to you, man. Really, really good game. But let's play this here.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Let me know if you guys can hear it.
Writing on the wall.
And it would not have been the fire of the cannons. So yeah, really interesting matchup for our Amber Steel mirror. Two Amber Steel lists that probably are not representative of the rest of the room or the rest of the lists in the top 32. So unfortunately, one of them has to go in terms of our rogue decks that showed up. But yeah, I thought Alvin played fantastic.
Yeah, Alvin able to get into that top 16 here, guaranteeing that invite to Continentals.
Yeah, we saw him have a really dynamic game plan. Game 1 and Game 2 was on the much more controlling route and then shifted into a more aggressive route in Game 1. Anyway, let's head to a quick interview with our winner, and then we'll come back for our next match.
Well, Lumineers, I am here back with Alvin, who just won his top 32 match. That means you are top 16, sir. You've earned an invite to the championships. How are you feeling about that?
We're going to Disney. Let's go. We're going to drive there because we live in LA. So it's going to be a really short drive. And I'm so stoked. I didn't realize I made top 16 until I got here and you told me. I was like, oh my God, that's so true. I made it.
You made it. And you made it playing against a really interesting deck, that locations deck with 28 locations. Was that a deck that you expected to see? And what were your thoughts during that match?
Definitely. I really planned going into this weekend that I was going to see that deck. Not just kidding. No way. There was no way in my brain that I would have thought that would have been a thing. I thought red steel locations would be a thing, but Amber Steel locations, very spicy. So shout out to you, man, for building that amazing deck and making it all the way to top 32. Yeah. So yeah, that was amazing.
Now on your side of the board, there's one card in particular you said that did a lot of work, and that is Tinkerbell. Can you talk a little bit about how Tinkerbell came in to help you take this win?
So Tinkerbell is a 4-drop. When you play her, she looks at the top 4 characters of your deck and you add a character. She is also a shift target for Big Tink. So I ended up shifting, dealing damage, challenging, dealing more damage to clear the board, and then we were golden to quest in the next turn for game. Also in game 3, she came in clutch, played her, removed some of the board, so that way they didn't have game for next turn, and we ended up taking it there. So she was amazing. MVP for sure.
MVP, like you said, golden. And your next match, you're actually going to be playing for that golden Mickey. So we hope you do well in the next round. Good luck to you, Alvin, and thanks for chatting with me.
Thank you so much, and shout out to all of my community. I love you guys. Appreciate all the support, and thanks to Ravensburger Disney for organizing these amazing events, and to you for interviewing everyone and being here and being amazing.
Thank you so much. We'll send it on back to you.
All right.
All right, that's it. What do you? I was so lit. I was so high on life right there. I don't even remember the interview. I don't remember what I said, but it was such a great feeling. Let me turn this thing off. Okay, cool. My wife was the MVP. Big shout out to my wife, Miss Lorganes. She was amazing during the whole weekend. Oh my God, there's like no words to express how happy I felt to have her there, just supporting me, taking all the videos and photos and giving me pep talks and just cheering me on, being my #1 supporter. And yeah, she put in so much work, handing out the cards, keeping in touch with people and everything. Yeah. Stop. I appreciate you so much. You're amazing, babe. Love you. All right, so we'd love to hear more of his insight on the build. On the locations build? Are you talking about the locations build on the Amber Steel locations? Is that what you're talking about, Mark? Shout out Miss Lorganes. Yeah, shout out Miss Lorganes, guys. She's the MVP. The locations build. Yeah, I'm trying to track him down to get his insight on it and to talk to us about it. If I do get a hold of him, I'm gonna have him on talking about it. All right, guys. I am on the prowl. I'm looking for this guy. I can't find his socials. I mean, I found one of his socials, but I don't even know if it's him. So hopefully we can get in touch so he can talk to us about his deck. But let's hop into our deck list, guys. We have Blue Steel by Mark Navarro, top 64. Shout out to you, man. He's running the Fire the Canning, so he has the removal for the Diablos, for the early characters. Of course, the Popsicles, the Chicha for the draws, the Magic Broom for the Diablo once again. A lot of Green Steel hate, and there's a big reason for it too, because there was a lot of Green Steel and Ruby Sapphire at DLC Seattle. He has the Visions of the Future, which is an awesome way to look at the top 5 cards and add anything you want to your hand. The Teeple and the Mickey. So he has diversity in his ramp. The Tinks, the Ariel, and the Simba. Simba's an MVP. He's so good. He's so good. Dealing 2 damage on play and also when he banishes a character. So shout out to you, Mark. Let's hop into our second list. Top 64, Steel Amethyst by Homero Sanchez. Very spicy list, guys. I love how this list is looking. We have the Befuddles, the Chernobog's Followers, Fire the Cannons for the Diablo hate. Once again, and it is such a good one. You can play it on turn. If you're going second, you can play it on turn 1 to snipe their 1-drop Diablo, or you can wait for it to come down. The Magic Brooms for the draws. The Mickey 1/2 with resist +1. I think is very good. It doesn't die to storm. The Pascal Pascal's evasive, so you can get a lot of lore in. The Dock, which lets you discard your whole hand and draw 2 cards. So if you have 0 cards in hand, you can drop them on the field and draw 2. Gathering Knowledge to close out games, you gain 2 lore. The Lawrence, just the Beat Stick, same with the Smee. The Fox, the Merlin to boost up your characters. The Smash for the Big Ursula. Very, very good into the Big Ursula. The 3-drop Ursula with 2/3 stat line. And of course, Das Goat to close out the games. Very spicy list. Very, very cool. He played against Zan in round 1. And they ended 2-1. So big shout out to you, Homero Sanchez, representing. Let's go. Deck list number 3. Let me make this a little bit bigger. So deck list number 3 is by Gabriel Holguin, Emerald Amber, top 64. This is looking spicy. This is similar to Clara's list from top 64 Las Vegas. And they said it was influenced by that deck list. So it's cool that they gave him the credit. But it's amazing that they made it all the way to top 64. They're running the full-on aggro package here with the Queen line, the Queen Shift line, which I think is very good to stay aggressive and also to help with good trades with characters, and also to banish other characters. The Simba as the bodyguard, the Baloo, just one because he's an inkable. I think that was the thought process. The Donald Duck is a bodyguard 2/3. He is inkable, and he gives one of your characters an additional questing power, an additional lore. The Cloud Kicker for the Diablos, of course, and he just gives you very, very good tempo. Sven to ready your characters. The Tinkerbell, when played, gives a chosen character evasive. So if you have another character in play, you play the Tinkerbell on 4, you can give one of your other guys evasive to take out any Diablos. And I think it's really interesting that they're running Chernobog's big Chernobog here. Let's see here. Let's hop on our next list. Top 64, Aubrey Perry. I played Aubrey Perry in top 64. He was my first match, and he was such an awesome dude. Big shout out to you, Aubrey. You're such a cool guy. It was such a pleasure playing against you. He had a great energy. Super cool dude. He beat me first game. I beat him second, and I beat him third. His first game was insane. He played a Merfolk turn 1. He played a Bonsai. He played another Bonsai, another Merfolk, or some combination of that, and he ended up on a Queen's Castle on like turn 4. And I struggled dealing with this board, but I love this list. It's very powerful, especially into the blues, into the red blues, which were 5 of his matchups. He played 5 red blues. He was talking to me about it. He told me he got all the red blues, and he only ran into 1 green steel, which I think was either a 1/1 or an 0/2. Correct me if I'm wrong, and if you end up seeing this, Aubrey, I don't remember too well, but I know you did amazing, and big shout out to you. Awesome list. I love the Clarabelle. I think she's one of the best cards in the game right now. Another Emerald Amethyst, and they're running a little bit of spice here. So Sean Keaton, shout out to you for making top 8. What a savage. He's running the Cogsworth, the Rafik Master, the Pinocchios with the Anna. So the Anna character says when you play this character, each opponent chooses and exerts one of their characters. So if they have a Prince John awarded character on the field, they can exert it with the Anna. She also has decent stat lines, and she can sing friends on the other side. I think this character is very cool, very spicy, incorporating her into this deck. You can always bounce her back and replay her. I like the incorporation of the Pinocchios. And also Mystic Rose says, banish this item. Chosen character named Belle. Base gets +2 lore this turn. If you have a character named Belle in play, remove up to 3 damage from chosen character to chosen opposing character. That's so sick. So the Beast and the Belle, they're playing both, and this item puts in so much work for closing out games with the Beast. So you can play the Mystical Rose and banish it to give your Beast and make it a 4 quester. If you quest 5 times with this thing, it's GG's. So it's a really good way of closing out games mid and late game. I think the combo is insane. But yeah, shout out to you, Sean, for cooking and putting out this awesome list for us to see. And here we go. First place by Luke Godwin, which is also Wonderland. I mean, it's green steel. It's one of the best decks, if not the best deck of the set right now. And it's running the Dock, which is a little spicy here. They're running a little bit spice with the Dock, the Babooms, so they don't get their songs pinged. They still have a way to banish an opposing Diablo or an opposing Morph. I played Luke in my top 16, and unfortunately, I wasn't able to beat him, but it was a very, very good game, very fun game. So shout out to you, Luke, for making top 16. Awesome, awesome stuff. Okay, let's move into the next one. And also, guys, make sure to check out our Instagram post with Wonderland. We took a few photos. We have a whole montage of photos, and if you know, we took a lot of photos with everybody that was there. So if you made it on there, leave a comment down below and on our Instagram, guys. Top 32, Ruby Sapphire by Huzbakan. This has some spice. We'll start with the Great Stone Dragon. I like the Great Stone Dragon in this deck list. I think it's amazing. There's, a lot of characters, and it's a free ramp. you're ramping for free with the Gravestone Dragon. They're also running the Gaston, so they brought the Gaston back into the mix. I do like him as they're not running the target to shift on, but by himself he's still really good, dropping him on 6. So the Gaston quest for 4, you look at the top 3 cards when he's played and you add a character or you add any card to your hand, put the rest in the bottom of the deck. They're running 2 B preps, the 2 Hades, very cool, and the 1 Scar, the one-sided B prep, or as I like to call it. The Tamatoas 4 and the Maleficent Dragons at 3. Very cool list. Shout out to you, Uzma, for getting your top 32. Very, very cool. Let's hop into the next list, which is another Ruby Sapphire. And I wanted to showcase this one because they are running. Jacob Schmidt got top 8 and he is running the Queen of Hearts. That's super cool. I haven't seen Queen of Hearts in a minute. They're running the Fan Crossbow, the Sisu. Guys, this list is like very, very compact. It's running the draw engine here. It's running a lot of big Sisus, a lot of little Sisus, 1 Cusco, 3 Donald Ducks, 3 Scars. This is insane. I think this is a very cool list. The Great Stone Dragon. So the Fan Crossbow, you pay 2 and chosen character gets -2 strength. You can also banish this to banish chosen dragon character. So you can banish an opposing Sisu or Maleficent, which I think is super cool. So Jacob, shout out to you for getting top 8 in Seattle. Another top 8 by Jonathan Ball, Ruby Sapphire, guys, or Ruby Amethyst. This list has a lot of spice. I love the Ruby Chromicon, gathering knowledge to close out games. So they have a lot of game closers, like the Pirate's Life, other ways to gain lore, the Goofy, for the libraries, for the Queen's Castle to gain you a lot of passive lore and some draws, gathering knowledge and wisdom. Also another way to gain extra lore. I do love this list. The Prince Eric, when he's banished, you can banish a chosen opposing character. Super, super cool, man. Big props to you for playing something different out of the box and doing so, so well. Jonathan was sitting next to me when I was playing my top 16. I wish I could have seen his games. Maybe they're on the replays. I don't know. I'm gonna try to find them. But second place, Sean Leung, second place. Shout out to you, man. You did incredible. I saw your finals match. That was some crazy games. So crazy. So good. He is running the Daisy Duck for the early aggro. The Queen package. We've been seeing the Queen package run a lot. I think the Queen does really well into the red matchups. Also, she's a great way of dealing with characters that are big, with locations, and also great aggression. Great early aggression. They're running the 2 Bare Necessities, the 3 Ursula, which is a great 2-drop, especially into the steel matchups because she's hard to get rid of. The 4 Ariel, the 2 Balloons, which is a great game closer and protects your characters with his bodyguard. The Gaston, he's a 3/3, so he can't be brawled. Lawrence at 3, he's a great quester and challenger. The 4 Pete, the 2 Naveen. I feel like people are weaning off Naveen a little bit. That's just a direction if you want to take. I know Chris Oyola talked about this earlier, but you can do whatever you want, guys, but it looks like most lists are cutting him, which I don't know if that's correct or incorrect. You know, do whatever you'd like, guys. Do whatever floats your boat. Let's hop into Chris Oyola's. Actually, we talked about this one, but really quick, Chris Oyola getting top 32. We already spoke to him. He talked to us about his Queen and why he prefers the Queen, being able to sing songs when she shifts, so an early singer is also very, very strong. Daisy Duck for the aggro, the Balloons, which put in a lot of work, he said. Just being able to protect your characters and close out games. The World's Greatest with the Queen works fantastic. And yeah, big shout out to you, Chris. Let's hop into this Amber Steel List top 16 by Alvin Hernandez. Shout out to you, Alvin Hernandez. That's me, guys, by the way. That's me. This is my list. I want to cover it real quick. So I'm running a very strong aggro package. The Daisy Duck, the Smee, Piglet, and Lawrence, Doc. These guys all quest for 2. If you notice, most of my characters are going to be questing for 2, except for the Tinkerbell, the Chimpo, the Cinderella. So very aggressive, very strong, very fast. If I was going second, I usually put out a Daisy Duck because she's very good going second, or a Cinderella, so I can play any of these songs if I do hit them in my opening hand. But Smee and Lawrence are amazing going second. They put in a lot of work. Lawrence being able to challenge into almost anything early game and heal with Rapunzel was just like the frosting. So, so good. Tinkerbell searches the top 4 characters, the top 4 cards. You add any single character that you want to your hand. She's also a great shift target for the big Tinkerbell. So there's a reasoning behind here. And a big shout out to Paul. Paul gave me this recommendation. I ended up adding her and she was amazing. Chien-Po put in so much work. He was one of the MVPs along with Mufasa and Big Tink. And one of the games, I ripped Cinderella off of Mufasa, and that was insane. Such a game changer. Also Chernobog. I hit Chernobog off of Mufasa. Also a big game changer. But yeah, this was my list, guys, and I had such an amazing time playing this. It wasn't a meta, not really a meta call, guys. I put this together because I thought it was fun, and you guys really enjoyed the gameplay, so I figured I'd take a fun deck to DLC. And I wasn't expecting it to do well at all, and it did. So here we are, guys. We ended up cooking with Mufasa. All right, next list is the mega spice of the spiciest, the sauciest of the saucy. We have Steel Amber locations. This was my top 32 match. It's on stream. If you guys haven't already seen it, you can find it on YouTube. It was the third game, the third match streamed. My second match streamed was I got double stream, which was really cool. The second one was versus Amethyst Emerald, and then the third one streamed was this one. The first one streamed was Zan versus that Amethyst Steel aggro build. But this list was insane. I didn't know how to deal with it. When I saw this list, I had no idea what to do. The first game, I think he wasn't expecting my list either, so it kind of worked out. So my first game playing against this, I didn't know how to approach it. He started playing a bunch of stuff, and I figured I'm going second, so I have to respond to his board. So I was trying to play the control game and control his board, and I managed to take control and go for game towards the end. But it was a very close game. They were all very close games. On game 2, he was on the play again, so he was on the play twice. On game 2, he was very aggro. I had trouble dealing with his locations and his characters, and I ended up losing that one. Game 3, I was on the play finally, and I took the aggro approach. I figured I can out-aggro him if I play Daisy Duck, Smee, and a bunch of other characters, and I had control. Tinkerbell was one of my closers. She came down. He had a game on board. She came down, dealt damage to 2 of their characters, banished, took away their lethal, and I managed to quest in with everything, and I had exactly lethal on board. So that was a really, really big game changer. Awesome games if you haven't already seen them. But the approach here is to play a bunch of locations early, represent a lot of pressure with the Daisy Ducks, refill your hand with the Docks. Smee puts on a lot of pressure too. John Silver is a very good game closer because he gains 1 extra lore and 1 resist for every location on the board. The Fix-It Felix is mega spicy, guys. The Fix-It Felix says, when you play this character, if you have a location in play, you draw a card. So he's like a popsicle. You play him, he draws you a card. His shift says your locations get +2 willpower. So having that on board, he's not easy to remove. He's a 4 or 5 static character. But all your locations are going to gain 2 extra willpower while he's on the board. But yeah, big shout out to you, Alvaro. I had such a fun time playing against you. And I want to share. Yeah, guys, the experience was insane. Just being on stage twice put a lot of pressure on me. I was very nervous, especially because everybody was watching everyone was watching every single move of mine. You could see my hand, and I was just like, I had to be dialed in. I couldn't think about anything else but the game in hand. And I managed to push through the pressure and stay concentrated and stay focused. But me playing and hearing the crowd roar after each match win was insane. Like after each game that I won, there's a delay in the video. So I'm trying to share the photo here. I'm trying to share the photo. let's share here. Downloads. I think this is it. Let me just share a photo real quick with you guys. Boom. Here we go. There we go. So this was a shot of my top 32 match. I was nervous the whole time, guys. I was so nervous. It's hard. I thought it was hard to play when I'm streaming here. That was even harder because you had to calm your nerves. You have to breathe, think about your plays, overthink your plays sometimes. But we managed to push through and take the dub. And hearing the crowd out there, hearing all the support was absolutely incredible. So I appreciate all of you guys, everybody that was out there supporting. Appreciate you so much. And if you saw my match, I hope it was entertaining for you guys. So this is a repost from the Ink Ready Buds. The Ink Ready Buds. Thank you guys for sharing this photo. There it is. Ink Ready Buds. You can find them on Instagram. They of course they're a Lorcana page, but yeah, appreciate every single one of you guys so much for the support, and we're just growing out here. I did it for you guys. Steel Fossa, you guys recommended Steel Fossa, so we went out there and put in the work. Thank you guys. Yeah, and we were the they were a few spicy decks, but we were the only Mufasa in top 64. So that is really cool to know. Really cool to know that we were the only Mufasa that made top 64, and one of the only two off meta decks playing Amber Steel. So yeah, something very unexpected, and yeah, we pulled it off, guys. So love you guys, appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed this deck coverage / talking with Chris Oyola today, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow we're gonna be doing a gameplay with commentary, so stick around. And it looks like we will be covering we're going to be doing the gameplay of this, so we're going to be covering our match against the locations. I'll be doing the commentary as well and talk about what was going through my mind and what he was playing and what he talked to me about his deck. We didn't really exchange too much about his deck because he didn't want to give me too much information, of course. But just going off of what I experienced, I'm going to talk to you guys and give you my insight on this matchup, on this match that was streamed tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going to stream it, and we're going to shoot for, let's see, what's the time? 12. We're going to do it at 12 at noon tomorrow. So make sure to tune in tomorrow at noon. We're going to stream this match, this full match with commentary. So you guys can ask questions as I'm streaming it too. And yeah, it'll be a fun time, guys. Thank you, Mark, for popping that question. Appreciate all of you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Make sure to tune in tomorrow, Pacific Standard Time. Thank you, Mark. You're on it, brother. I appreciate you so much. Tomorrow at 12 Pacific Standard Time. We'll put up a notification for you guys so you know what time it's coming up and what to expect. All right? So see you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you. See you next time.